Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For my video today, I am going to be talking about the things on bags that drive me crazy. So this is going to be a little bit of a rant, but not an angry, vicious one, just sort of frustration because in all honesty, I use and love these bags, but there are some things about them occasionally that make me go crazy. So that's what this is all about. A couple months ago, there was a tag video that I did, which was a deal breakers video, which meant that there were certain features that a bag had that you absolutely would not buy it. That's not this. I own these bags, I love these bags, but like I said, there's just little quirky things about them that kind of drive me nuts occasionally. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. Okay, so let's just get right into it. The first one is the black hole, and you know what I'm talking about. So I have two bags that fall into this category. They both happen to be Louis Vuitton, and they are both actually in the Épée Noire. So I have my Speedy 25 in the Épée Noire, and I have my Sac d'épaule. This is a vintage bag. It's quite old, from the 90s, I believe. And this in particular is really bad when it comes to the black hole. So this is a black bag and it has a jet black interior, and honestly you cannot find anything in this bag. So let me just demonstrate for you for the camera. There it is. It is just a big black hole. With the Speedy, I did manage to solve the problem because I got a bag organizer for it, and I got a bright pink, there it is right there, my nice bright pink organizer. So now when I look inside my Speedy, I can actually find everything I need. So that was a good solution for it. For years, I did not have that organizer, and so I used to fumble and jumble around in there trying to find my items. But this bag, because it is so unique, because it is such an odd shape, it's very tall, and it also has this octagonal bottom, which makes it a very strange shape. So I have been unable to find a bag organizer that's going to work with this bag, and consequently it just remains a big dark hole. And because it is a big bag as well, it can be rather challenging to find those things. So I would like to just let the bag manufacturers out there know that if you are making bags, try not to make them black inside, especially if they are very big, because it's so hard to find things in there, especially if you're of a certain age and your close eyesight is getting worse. I do struggle with that, and I just wanted to put that out there because it is one of those things that drives me crazy. Okay, the next thing that drives me crazy are straps that fall off my shoulder. So I have two bags to demonstrate that, and this one right here is my Citadine in the empreinte leather from Louis Vuitton. You can see it has a double strap, and of course my beloved Neverfull, which also has a double strap. Now, to be fair, I do not normally wear this over my shoulder. I use it primarily as a tote bag, and therefore I'm usually holding it in my hand. Occasionally I will put it over my arm, but generally speaking, I don't normally put it over my shoulder. But in the days when I first got it and I used to put it over my shoulder, I would find that almost always the strap would just fall off. So you've got one that will stay on, and then this other one will just flop down, and it can be very, very annoying when you are trying to hold, especially if you have some, substantial weight in the bag, and it's just flopping off your shoulder and annoying you. Again, I don't normally wear this one on my shoulder, so it's not such a big deal, but this one is obviously meant to be a shoulder bag. And I did notice that about this bag, is that every time I had it on my shoulder, I would be carrying it around and the upper strap always would fall down. Now I am wearing a shirt today that has a big puffy sleeve that's keeping it in place, and who knew, maybe that is what I needed to wear all along. But I found that this just flops right off no matter what I'm wearing, usually in a coat, in a sweater, in a jacket, in a shirt, bare arm, it didn't matter. The strap just falls off my shoulder. So I hate to be picking on Louis Vuitton because it may look like that based on the fact that all four bags that I've shown you are Louis Vuitton, but it just so happens that I have more Louis Vuitton bags than any other bags, and so I guess the odds are that I'm going to find little faulty things wrong with them. But double straps, that fall off my shoulder. Very annoying, and I wish I could find a solution for it. The third thing that drives me crazy about my bags are fussy clasps. They drive me crazy. So what I'm talking about is a clasp that needs a little bit of extra maneuvering with your fingers that just does not want to close. And this, for example, this is my Coach. I believe this is the Ranch bag, and it has a turn lock clasp here, which you wouldn't think would be so bad. Right now I have this bag stuffed very nicely to hold its shape, but normally I would not have that many things in this bag if I were carrying it. And this is exactly one of those bags that if it's on your shoulder and you're trying to close it and you have to fumble with the clasp to get it to close, that drives me crazy. Now this one does not have a magnetic clasp, which kind of helps you along. So you do have to fumble a little bit with this one, although I have to say it's not the worst I've ever seen. My Clapton from Louis Vuitton also has this kind of push lock clasp here with it that can sometimes be a little bit annoying. Now this is a small bag, so typically when I'm carrying it, it is pretty full. And so I don't struggle too badly with this one. If it's full, it's better. But if it's not as full, sometimes it can be difficult. So this one is not really a culprit, to be honest with you, but anything that I have that has a turn lock clasp, including my reissue, and that one is right here behind me. So again, if you don't have everything lined up just so with the reissue, it's not going to close very nicely. It does have the double flap. Again, I have it stuffed with some air paper to keep it in shape, but I find that when I am dealing with a bag like this one in particular, and I have to say this is by far the worst culprit, the one that I have that drives me crazy, because right now you can see me trying to struggle to get that snap closed on the inner flap, and then the outer flap, and you have to fumble around a little bit to get the turn lock clasp closed. So that is something that drives me crazy too. If you're in a hurry and you want to make sure that your handbag is secured, that could be a couple extra minutes, actually. In all honesty, I have spent some time just, trying to line everything up so that it will close properly. And with the reissue, especially with the two flaps going over, there are so many times when I just ignore the inner flap because I can't find the snap, and I go ahead and I try to fumble through with the turn lock clasp on the outer clasp, and it does manage to work. So I'm not trying to say that these bags are awful, that a turn lock is a bad type of closure anyway, but I just find for me sometimes that it can be really difficult. If the bag is completely full and nicely packed, it's usually not a problem. But if it's the kind of situation where I've just thrown a few items in there and I set out, and usually if I'm looking for my wallet, when I try to put it back in and close everything up, it takes me like an extra minute. Drives me crazy. But what are you gonna do? It's better to have a closed bag than not, right? Okay, and the last thing that drives me crazy about bags are bags that won't stand up when you put them down. So a prime example of this would be any hobo bag. This is my Burberry hobo bag. If any of you follow my channel, you may know that this was my mother's bag. This was her absolute favorite bag, and I am keeping it for sentimental reasons. She passed away in December, so I do want to keep it as a remembrance for her. Plus, it's a beautiful bag. But when you have a bag like this, now it does have a nice bottom on it, but it really just kind of flops. Like, obviously there's nothing in there, but it won't sit nicely. It does kind of flop over, and that can be very annoying. And other bags that I have that do not stand upright include this Coach. Again, this Coach is stuffed here with the air paper, so it is standing, but I have found it that when I put it down, it just flops right over and it drives me crazy. So you're trying to put your bag down in a place. I will not put my bag on the floor. I absolutely refuse. I'll hold it in my lap. I'll put it behind me. I'll hang it on the chair. Sometimes I've even eaten an entire dinner with the bag hanging on my shoulder because I refuse to put it on the ground. I'm just weird about that. But I have found that if I had a space to put it in and I want to put it somewhere and I want it to stand up, it flops over. Drives me crazy. I don't know why, but that especially drives me crazy. I think that's probably the #1 thing. When your bag just flops over, you're like, ah! Here I am trying to keep it so nice and neat, and now it's getting all dirty because it's fallen over. I've had bags fall off my car seat. I've had bags fall off chairs just because they're all kind of unbalanced. So that is one of those things that really, really bothers me. So I would love to know what it is about the bags that you love that have these little quirky details that they just drive you crazy. So please let me know that I'm not the only one out there. I hate to think that I'm super picky about anything because I really don't think I am. But I just get annoyed with these little details, and I want to know what you guys get frustrated with when it comes to your beloved bags. So tell me in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you again in my next video. Take care.